Aloha, this is Santa Surfing. Welcome to Beach Broadcast. Today is Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. I have a ton of stuff to cover. Before I get to that, though, I want to thank Pain Absolve. I kid you not, my buddy, for the stuff that happened to me over the past week and a half. I was prescribed some really very, very tough stuff, and I'm like, I don't think so, for the pain, and instead I took Pain Absolve. It's a natural supplement, doesn't make me drowsy. And from what other people report is that it does heal tissues and tendons for them. But Pain Absolve it has worked. And many of our viewers, they've been using Pain Absolve for 5 years now. So please contact Pain Absolve for more information. They do have combo order specials. They'll give you a free bottle that's a $40, $50 value. And then with any order, even a single order bottle, they will give you a Trump solar gift. Now, I heard they're running low on this, but they have other types of MAGA or constitutional related gifts that they are giving out. So as soon as they give me the update on the new gift, I'll put that up here. But you can scan the QR code or go to painabsolverxpill.com. And Meta 247 now, that provides ivermectin and fenbendazole. The ivermectin pills are 12 milligram pills. No doctor's note is needed. No form to fill out. You simply call 888-749-0261. That's 888-749-0261. Or you can go to their website and you can fill out a form if you are overseas. They are still offering 20 additional free ivermectin pills. So contact to get ivermectin or fenbendazole, go to Meta 247 now. I had a completely different podcast ready to roll, and I had to go hit the brakes on it, but I am going to cover that part. But I did because President Trump just posted this. So my title is Trump is Royalty. Guys, we've been talking about this for what, 6.5 years, 7 years, right? Charles' visit is imperative, in my opinion. Clinton Foundation exposed for very dark crimes, and there's going to be a little bit more that I've got receipts. If you're new to my show, this is not your traditional news podcast. I like to share receipts, and I like to go ahead and kind of show you where I got the information, and then also kind of some cue drops as well. So this is what President Trump had posted. Well, it was an article, and it says, revealed how the mail traced Trump's family tree and found out he's the king's cousin. Oh my gosh. And it says, wow, that's nice. I've always wanted to live in Buckingham Palace. I'll talk to the king and queen about this in a few minutes. President DJT. Oh my gosh, guys, this is really, really, really big. I'll get to this in a moment. Okay. So please do subscribe to the new YouTube channel, which you're watching on right now. The old one is slowly kind of going away, but please follow this. You can scan the QR code or you can click on this link. Okay, first of all, let me talk about Clinton Foundation. Grassley sent a letter, Chuck Grassley, he sent a letter, and he was requesting, he's basically in his letter, let me just show this to you. So, and again, it's a receipt. And it's, so he's basically asking, where's the information that we've asked James Comey or the FBI? We need that. We want it now. So he's requested this information to the DOJ and to the FBI. And I went ahead and took this 12-page letter. I just kind of went through all of it, and I took it and I just broke it down for you so you can have a little bit of an understanding of what the heck is actually going on. So if you click on the article link in the description of this podcast, it will take you to this post. And then here is the letter, and it's broken down into, I just took the first 6 pages and I highlighted the things that Chuck Grassley is requesting. Now, he wants this because, of course, he wants to take some action. And I know many of you are saying, oh, come on, nothing's happening. Oh, I got these pages mixed up here. But anyway, you get the gist. So I underlined the things that he needed. So I'm toggling up. So what he wants is the non-governmental email that, you know how Hillary was using it in her basement. The mishandling of classified documents, potential campaign violations. Number 4, dubious Clinton Foundation financial dealings. Then he also brings up this company called Tenneco, a private firm founded by Bill Clinton. And then number 6, Bill Clinton's speaking fees while Hillary was Secretary of State. Acquisition of uranium-1 of this company called, it's a long name, so it's all abbreviated as ARMZ, a U.S.-based uranium asset, a subsidiary of Rosatom. While this acquisition was happening, Rosatom officials were under criminal investigation during this transaction period. Again, Clinton's went ahead and orchestrated most of this. And then number 8, national security implication of U1 acquisition. Number 9, conflicts of interest between Hillary as SOS and the transacting parties. Number 10, chairman of U1 made donations to the Clinton Foundations in the millions while Hillary was Secretary of State. Guys, we already knew this, but we needed this to come out in publicly. Number 11, Comey's FBI preliminary investigation on Clinton Foundation to its alleged use of foreign entities to corruptly influence decision or action. And then number 12, Clinton Foundation hid foreign donations of 2 million shares in Polo Resources. Donations were made by this guy named Stephen Dettels, a Canadian mining executive. 13, Clinton ties to Frank Gustra, a Canadian billionaire executive and Colombian president pay to play. Number 14, pay to play with Boeing. 15, pay to play with Haiti. Rare gold, and this is using her brother. Rare gold exception permit after billions of tax dollars went to Haiti following the Haiti earthquake, and also following the donations that went to Clinton Foundations that didn't all, and those are supposed to go to Haiti, those didn't make it. She used taxpayer dollars to help rebuild Haiti. After that was done, then she got her little sweet deal. Number 16, Wiener devices and Clinton Foundation servers. And then 17 is other schemes. So if you want to go ahead and read this, you can kind of take a look at this letter. And then if you want to, I'm going to toggle up. If you want to go ahead and read the full letter, it's right up here. All right, so Clinton Foundation, they're in big, big trouble. Now, there are some deltas that kind of tie into what's coming up and what's happening. So I'm going to go through that now because I kind of want to save the royalty news for later on because it's, oh my gosh, it's really big. So April 26th, Delta, which was just 2 days ago, this is on John Legend and HRC. Look at this. It is this right here, April 26th. John Legend, our new love is here. And they're talking about the baby, guys. Okay, I know. But how many pics can you find of JL, John Legend, and HRC regarding Haiti? Marching into darkness, into the darkness lyrics, follow the stars, it's everywhere. Okay, so they're kind of outlining what the horrible things that were done to children. April 27th, Delta, which was yesterday, it's this one right here, and it's Truth. Okay, the day that Chuck Grassley submitted that letter. Truth, transparency, and equal justice under the law. Drain the swamp. United we stand. We the people. Where we go, one we go all. Now, bear in mind, the media is not even talking about that letter from Chuck Grassley. So when they're not talking about it, that means it's big news. That's how I look at things. Today, April 28th, is a Delta. All the walls are falling down. All the walls are falling down. Okay, another one for April 28th is, it talks about Adam Schiff. He's part of the Gang of Eight. It really focuses on Adam Schiff and the Gang of Eight. And then it drops right down here, and it's if Adam Schiff was privy to Gang of Eight classified materials, would he not would he not know the same facts, truth about Nunes? Okay. Think Nunes memo versus Adam Schiff knowingly was, what if it was coordinated? Okay, now I'll get to Nunes in a moment because, oh my gosh. All right, then we have 1291. This one is another Delta for today. I'm just going to drop down here. Who makes arrests? FBI and DOJ. Can you make arrests with a crooked FBI senior team? And what did Akash Patel do? He's been kind of purging, right? He's been kind of cleaning things out. See previous posts regarding the FBI. Not easy for anyone. We are in this together. Much appreciation. It's what you know. It's what you don't know and can't see ongoing that will validate your efforts. Trust the plan. Step back. Remove arrests. So take this out. Take the arrest out, and what is the bigger picture is how I see this post. You decide. What do you see? Stage being set. Godspeed, Patriot. Q. Okay, so if you take the arrest out of the equation, again, because my attitude is, yes, I'd like to see some congressional changes, some congressional arrests, because they're the ones that are making laws and doing all these other stuff. and using our tax dollars for other things. But if you take that out of the equation, what's the bigger picture, right? Are these people just going to fall flat on their faces? All right. And then it's 1292 is another delta for today. These are big deltas for today. Shall we play a game? Can you trust? You know that we know, you know what we have, your move Q. That seems to be a message for the deep state. Q knew that the deep state was looking. And then this one right here is another delta for today. And this is Q answering this Anon. Godspeed, Patriots. Stay strong, stay united. Boom, week ahead. Well, let's talk about Devin Nunes, okay? Because on that one here, April 28th, Nunes, remember, he left Truth Social, but he has been part of President's Intelligence Advisory Board since December of 2024, but he formally began on January 20th of 2025. He initially continued as CEO of Trump Media Group, which operates Truth Social, while serving in the intelligence oversight position. So he's been in that position all along. He's just now going to be focusing full time on that position. Now let's talk a little bit about the visit from Charles and Camilla. We're not seeing a whole lot. President Trump, Melania, they welcome Camilla to the White House, but look at the difference. Now, please note, last time there was somebody that came out here was Queen Elizabeth II in May of 2007 to meet with George Bush. And then we have right now Charles III, and he is meeting with President Trump, but prior to that, when he was Prince Charles, he came and visited Obama. Notice the difference. So yesterday, this was the welcome, and now notice how Camilla steps up to Melania. If she is truly royalty, it would have been the other way around. Not only that, you can't touch the queen. And in this case here, yeah, she's married to the queen, the king. But watch how she does this. And where's their entourage of security? And on top of that, just the comms. Why? Again, we know that Queen Elizabeth always liked to hold a little purse, but you don't see Melania doing that. She's always got somebody holding her stuff for her. But look at this, and then look at what happened back in September of 2025 when President and Melania Trump had their royal entrance.
Two. Doors, up, open. Doors pretty closed, pretty shut, pretty faced, floor mark.
And this is how President and Melania Trump were welcomed when they went to the UK. This was an extraordinary moment where the world got to see this. And now they're going to be scratching their heads saying, why did President Melania Trump have this entourage, this royal welcome, playing the America's national anthem while they're making their entrance? Their entrance was almost 30 minutes long just to get to Windsor Castle. Now, it was incredible, and they had the royal horses and just their army and their military that Trump later inspected. But that was the big difference. And again, Anon surfers had talked about this for years. We were all talking about this. What I find interesting, though, is that not that we're right, but that how does this pivot the entire everything to how they treat Trump, right? How does this pivot the media on how they're going to treat President Trump? How does it pivot everything? What if he is royalty? What if he all of a sudden turns this country into one big I mean, I'm just kind of thinking outside the box, guys, because if he is indeed royalty, imagine how our nation is going to change drastically. And for the very, very loyal listeners that I have that are in Ireland and the UK and in all of these 33 Commonwealth nations, you have got to be jumping for joy. Yes. President Melania Trump, they had these beehives, and they had Melania Trump had put this out just a few days before their arrival. So here they are, they're looking at this beehive display. And so I was thinking, what does that really mean? Well, again, this may be a stretch and everything, but you decide. But beehives decoded. So what I do is I go to gematrix.org, and then one of the decodes is 824. Q824 comes off to Q. So we're not seeing a lot of activity going on behind the scenes with their visit right now. Then I said, okay, beehives, they make honey, right? Well, honey decoded. Oh my gosh. Okay. So again, did the same thing, came up. One of the decodes came to 503. 503, it is reposting another Q post. It says original 15 minutes, DEFCON 1 confirmed, DEFCON 1 confirmed, revised 1 minute coincidence, but that's what I'm looking at is DEFCON 1 confirmed. Okay, so I just think it's interesting timing because think in the mindset of the person that just listens to CNN, MSNBC, or MS Now, whatever it's called, and they listen to all these liberal reporters. Think of the person that's just sitting there going, oh yeah, or let's take a different layer. Let's take it to the central bank people that are affiliated the higher level ups with central banks. They know that there's a connection with the UK and the ties with the UK and the central banks and the Federal Reserve, right? So there's that connection. Then think on the terms of somebody that's a deep stater. Maybe it's a low-hanging fruit deep stater, because we know a lot of the bigger names already got dealt with, but that hasn't come out publicly. So think about this. Charles and Camilla, they come out here to the White House, and it's the same time, the day they enter, this Clinton Foundation investigation breaks. The war on fraud raids begin to happen. I'll get to that in a moment. The new financial system comes into play, which part of it is X money. And then you have a big XRP conference going on in Vegas. Oh, and Obama and Hillary serious crimes are exposed. And the news isn't talking about this. All right. So think this. If the deep state, or anybody relevant to the current slavery banking system, thought they had an ally with the UK monarchy, then they see this visit happening. What happens to them? Did they start switching gears? Do they go in panic mode? They don't have enough time to switch their plans, especially if they're a big entity, conglomerate organization. So are they shocked? Are they cornered? Do they know we're done? We have no other options, right? That's how I'm looking at this. Because with somebody not coming out to the royal monarchy hasn't been out for 19 years, right? To visit the sitting president. Well, does not say something. So President Trump has made it very clear that he is in control of all these nations. A non-informed deep state central bank crony will know that President Trump holds all the cards now. President Trump posted this today, and Pappy Trump, I'm going to start with this. I'm telling you guys, whether it's Barron or President Trump posting on Pappy Trumpo account, but they are always days ahead. That's why they are my new comical version of Q drops. And they posted this just yesterday. They said, stop it. And they have a picture of Charles and Camilla standing next to King and Queen Trump. Queen Melania, King Donald J. Trump. Okay, so he jokes around about it, and people are like, no, you can't do that. You see some of his remarks, and I'm like, oh boy, these people only knew. And then this news breaks. Now, we know that fake news, that's all they do. They're just so obsessed with Trump in their head. Trump lives in their head, rent-free, 24/7. And they're sitting there, and they see this, and they are probably sitting back and saying, dang it. Because they probably have said, we've seen the Q people, they've been talking about this. We've seen the MAGA folks talking about this, but now it's getting more and more confirmation. So President Trump, he responds to this he posted the article and he says, "Wow, that's nice. I've always wanted to live in Buckingham Palace." Oh my gosh. I'll talk to the king and queen about this in a few minutes, President DJT. Remember, Buckingham Palace has been closed. It's been closed for, oh my gosh, since his first term. So were they gutting it out, doing some things, changing things? Are they making it a military compound base? I mean, there's many things going on, but it's like Trump's royal ancestry. And I'm just wondering if George Patton is royalty, because we know there's some connections there, but there's the ancestry. So it goes back to 1430. And then there's like Donald McKay. I was looking for Donald McKay up here. First Lord. Again, and then Donald MacLeod. And and then there's George. I'm wondering, was George Patton one of the, again, you decide. I don't know. I just got this information this morning, so I have to do a little bit more digging and watch what you guys put out there. But I think it's fantastic because now everything that you have talked about, especially when it comes to all these nations that submitted to Trump, all these nations that treated him like royalty, especially last year when we saw the nothing but royal visits, that was confirmation for us. But now will the sleepy world start to wake up, the liberal world start to wake up? You can hear the liberals scream right now. But again, how would this change everything on how they treat President and Melania Trump? Because right now, and is this how we switch everything? Is this how, I don't know. I don't have an answer, guys. So maybe you can help me out in the comment section. And if you do post comments, please put it in the new YouTube channel. But here we have this, John Thune. This is just an example. Our government is so corrupt, so corrupt. So John Thune says he might not be able to allow a standing filibuster to allow voter ID and citizenship for elections because they don't have enough time. I'm not going to play the clip, but anyway, he says that, and I'm thinking, okay, guys, we got this. He had so long, he had weeks and months to get this on the floor and start working on the filibuster. No. So I asked Grok. Okay, Grok kind of gave a synopsis of what that was about. And I'm like, what could happen next? Kind of like, what are our other choices? What could happen next is continue stalling or quiet death. The bill stays as pending business, but gets sidelined as the Senate shifts to appropriations, funding deadlines, and other priorities. Thune has signaled this approach, and without 60 votes or rule changes, it won't advance easily. House conservatives have threatened to block Senate bills in response, which could create leverage or gridlock. Number two is attached to larger packages. So if they're working on some kind of another bill, appropriations, or what have you, stick it in there. Throw it in there so that if they agree to passing everything, and in order to do it, they throw this bill in there, maybe. And then number three, pressure campaign and political messaging. I don't know if that's going to happen. Filibuster reforms or nuclear option, low probability. Thune has repeatedly said Republicans lack the votes to change rules. A full talking filibuster or nuke is risky for Senate norms and future minority rights. Some conservatives have floated it, but leadership resists. Again, John Thune, he's the one that calls the shots in the Senate. So, and then the fifth one is executive or alternative paths. If legislation fails, the administration could pursue executive actions on voter rolls, citizenship verification. States might tighten their own rules. The bill could be reintroduced or modified later in the session. And then bottom line is passage looks unlikely soon without a major shift. And remember, President Trump said he wasn't going to sign any other bill until this one gets passed. So again, we have a lame Congress, just a kind of a do nothing, 99.99%. There's a couple people in there that I do like, and I do think that they're frustrated with Congress as well, their peers. But that 99.99% of Congress, they're just so lame and they drag their feet. And what do we pay them for? And they obviously use our tax dollars for stupid things. So we are entering some uncharted territory, guys, honestly, because if we have this stalemate, if you will, with the getting this passed. What are our other options? Remember all the Q posts. This is not another 4-year election. This isn't, well, this is like, was the last election on November 5th the final election? Now that we know that, now that we know what President Trump just posted, these are Q posts on a clean house. Why is it important to first clean house within the FBI, DOJ? Okay. And then clean house. A clean house is very important. This one here is an April 10th Delta that was just a little over 2 weeks ago. Who is standing next to Pence and POTUS? Well, guess what? It's Mike Rogers and Jeff Sessions. If you take a look at this, who's standing next to? There's Admiral Rogers, and there's Jeff Sessions. Okay, then Q has who's standing next to out message. Well, Bolton's bye-bye. Out they go. A clean house is very important. Oh my gosh. Okay, so ready to a clean house and become America again. First time in about 100 years. Wow. Okay, so were we a sovereign nation before we had this 1913 Congress come in, or actually 1871 Congress come in, strip the United States from its constitutional rights, everything, incorporated it, turned it into a corporation, and didn't run with the sovereign America, right? Again, I'm just thinking, because I'll tell you, that post, I did not expect that post coming from President Trump, and it just changes everything and the way I look at things now. We've just been waiting and waiting and waiting for the actual real Donald Trump account to post something related to him being royalty. And I'll tell you, that's just going to, oh my gosh, that's going to be crazy. So just a few things to look ahead to, because sometimes when I'm like, what's going on, I'll look at deltas in the future. April 30th, Delta, 2 days from now, crossfire, hurricane, typhoon, wind. You don't think the statement by POTUS, calm before the storm, was just a random, did you? Transparency brings accountability. Q. Okay, all right. So we got that coming because, President Trump has really been calling out Obama and, pretty much the swamp. Then let's talk about the ballroom. I touched on it lightly yesterday, but if you want to see a great YouTube, go to the article link, please. Click on the White House ballroom. It's truly a military compound. And why is fake news not saying, yeah, let's have our next year or whenever they have the ballroom open, let's have our correspondent dinners there. Maybe we won't have another White House correspondent dinner because there's going to be some changes to our sovereign nation. I don't know. But a military compound. President Trump wants this compound. He wants this ballroom used to host dignitaries from other nations. He's mentioned that many times. So remember this when he had the flip. So things are flipping. Where are they flipping? How is it flipping? Okay, then remember the gunshot that happened on trying to take President Trump's life along with Melania's life and his cabinet's life. The shot heard around the world. The Great Awakening, a week to remember. So we've already got some things going on. So let's talk about those raids, because I just mentioned it about 10 minutes ago. This is what the Homeland Security is doing. They are actually, there's 22 raids going on in Minneapolis alone. And this is a war on fraud raids. So again, Colin McDonald, JD Vance, they're both spearheading this. What we're seeing right now is, here, I'll go ahead and play. It says, Homeland Security investigations in cooperation with our law enforcement partners executed criminal search warrants in Minneapolis relating to rampant fraud of U.S. tax dollars. There were, let me go ahead and play this for you. Oops.
Quality Learning Center, and Brooke Taylor has more on that and what they're looking for. Brooke, good morning.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Yeah, we have had a photographer there at the daycare since this morning, capturing video of those federal agents just going in and out of the building, collecting evidence as part of the DOJ's fraud investigation in Minnesota. Take a look at this video here. Sources tell Fox that federal agents are raiding about 22 businesses across Minneapolis this morning, and sources say many of them are tied to Somali-owned operations. All of this comes after that viral YouTube video from Nick Shirley. It was back in December. In that video, he visited different child care centers.
Hat tip to Nick Shirley. He's a young man that's gone out to Minneapolis and exposed this, is now going out around the nation and doing the same thing. See how you are the news, guys? Fantastic. Now there's other people doing the same thing, which is fantastic. More boots on the ground to help expose all these crimes. And then this news broke. So again, we know Trump has a handle on so many things. It's incredible. But this news just broke. Iran has informed us that they are in a state of collapse. They want us to open the Hormuz Strait as soon as possible as they try to figure out their leadership situation, which I believe they will be able to do. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Now, again, guys, a state of collapse. So what happens? Is President Trump going to go ahead and send Marco Rubio to run Iran so that there's some to kind of contain the chaos and try to get that nation back? You know that President Trump and his team, they've already made many moves already. They just have to get this out in the public. And I'm sure they'll move very quickly on this, but how President Trump had to take control of many things because there was corruption from manufacturing to the tariffs to trade deals to all of that. Because once you see that letter from Chuck Grassley about Clinton Foundation, you will be disgusted to see all the evil things that she and her husband were doing, trying to just go ahead and steal and only enrich herself. So we'll get pushback. I even had, I want to thank Sermons for reaching out to me. And I think you sensed my sentiment because I just getting attacked, I was like, whatever. But just keeping just positive people around your life, people that just are on the same page as you. Maybe you need to just say, okay, this person's a little bit of a negative Nelly. Maybe I won't talk to him or her for a few days or weeks just because I need to get on track. Guys, while all of this is going on worldwide, let's keep our thoughts positive. Just again, a recommendation because it's working for me. Positive thinking, the importance of manifesting positivity. When you manifest positive outcomes, thoughts, ideas, way of living, it really, truly all does fall into place. You begin to live and breathe good things and good things to come. And then guess what happens to your soul? It begins to start thriving again. It's starting to do the Sammy dance in your soul. Keep your sights on your dreams. You guys know this, but sometimes I need the reminder, so I'm sharing it with you, but keep your sights on your goals, your dreams, your vision. Keep your thoughts and surroundings optimistic and positive. Then you will be amazed of God's glory in your life. Now, I'm going to ask you this, and please answer in the comments on the new YouTube channel. When the World's Jubilee enters, what do you want to do to make a difference? Now, and I say that because somebody brand new reached out to me privately and asked pretty much the same question. And I was like, it was very thought provoking. And I was like, I can't answer it right away. I want to give him a very strong answer. I've been percolating in my head. So please keep the positivity because we are going to get pushback, guys. Whether you're active on social media, active on locals, wherever you are, just be prepared and get those memes ready. Okay. Prayers change things. This is such a great post. A police officer, before he continues his shift with his K9 buddy, a police officer, he takes a moment to pray with his beautiful K9 buddy companion, and then they pray, and then they go to work. And I think it's incredible. But it's just the simple yet powerful scene touched the hearts of thousands on social media. But it's so true. If you just take that moment to thank God in the morning, pray, he will meet your needs, but sometimes he just wants us to ask. God bless you all so abundantly. I'm so excited about what's coming, guys. I know it's going to be a pretty rough patch in the next few days, weeks, whatever, but it's worth it. We've come this far, guys. And now we'll begin to see how things will all play out. Have yourselves a beautiful day, afternoon, evening. Thanks for listening to the show. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the new channel so you can get notifications. And I will have another show very, very soon. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon. Aloha.